Hello everyone, my name is Russ, aka Dexirian. We're going to be casting a really good game today. We're talking about unR against Orb. I'm going to be your commentator for today, and along my side is Nubaeus. He's going to be your analyst.
Hey, Mike, I'm Nubaeus. One of these days you'll get my name right, and I am the color commentator slash analyst. And I'm going to be going into the picks right now. The picks, and we can't see the bands because they forgot to add us into their pregame lobby. But anyway, we're going to see unR going for a somewhat late game and very much AP oriented team between an Amumu jungle, support Alistar, a quirky AD, Morgana mid, and then Swain most likely top. And then for the purple team, we're going to be seeing a Kog'Maw AD. Might be seeing an AP Kog'Maw. This is actually interesting. Is it an AP Kog'Maw or an AP Tristana?
I believe it'd be an AP Tristana because Kog'Maw does have the cleanse, which usually you take in the bot lane, even though AP Tristana did get nerfed in the last patch, so I'm actually not sure, but personally I think it'd be AP Tristana.
I think it's going to be AP Kog'Maw though, because there's nothing for Kog'Maw to cleanse in the bottom lane. So my guess is he's going to be going mid to cleanse the Morgana binds. That's my guess right there.
Could be, I guess, yeah.
But and then at the same time, if it's AP Tristana, that's it. That's an interesting pick as well. And then we also have a Jungle Trundle, and then a freshly nerfed Yorick top. And going Yorick against a Swain just after his nerf. I have not played him yet. He's actually one of my favorite champions to play. And going up against a Swain, I think actually might be tough for him post nerf.
Yes, actually I have played Swain against a Yorick, and I did get an early gank, so I got a few levels on him, and he couldn't do scrap in the lane. Not even kidding. I don't think Swain is really the hard counter for Yorick, but if he gets the level advantage early on, there's nothing Yorick can do against him.
That's pretty much the way it is against any Yorick. So most people just don't like going to gank a Yorick because he has a couple ways to escape, even if they are slow, like a minor slows and movement speed boosts. They're just easy ways for him to escape, and he's very, very tanky later on. So like a good way to counteract him is to get one or two ganks early on, set him back a level or two, and then he can't. When he spams his ghouls, they don't do quite as much damage as you'd expect. Because let's say you're running magic per level runes, that's going to negate a lot of that initial ghoul damage. Because when they land, that's magic damage up front. But then another thing, looking at this blue team, that is a lot of magic damage. That is a ton of magic damage, and there's quite an easy way to counteract that. But at the same time, if you build a ton of magic resist, Corki has free reign on everybody.
He does have free reign with his basic attacks, but since the recent patch, Namumu and the AP did get nerfed, we might see a Mumu just going pure tank build, maybe an Abyssal Scepter or something, but nothing too huge AP-wise, because they did nerf his ratios quite a bit, so I don't think we'll see an AP Mummy, but yes, if they do stack MR, Corki will have free reign with that passive and auto attacks.
And something I did find kind of funny, there was actually Diana, the new champion coming out, was in there for the champion selection. So they could be possibly seeing her tomorrow after the full moon.
After the full moon, yeah, I think it is tonight if I'm not mistaken. So we're gonna go into loading screen right now, and we're gonna be in this game ASAP.
Yeah, and then once this gets loaded, looks like they might have a disconnect. So both teams, actually, the blue team looks like they actually have a rather strong invade team between the Nevermove from Swain, the Bind from Morgana, the Alistar knock-up, and then if Mumu decides to be really, really nice for his team, he can grab that Bandage Toss as well, but that would slow down his jungle a little bit. And
well, with the level 1 they have, I don't think they will really need a Mumu Bind unless they try to catch someone that is really far. Even then, Morgana's Bind can do the job for that, and they do have a really nice follow-up if Morgana does land that Q, so I don't think Mummy will really need to grab Q for that invade if they decide to.
I do 100% agree. I'm just saying a situational thing, like very last second, it's like, oh, we might get away, nope, Bandage Toss, secure the First Blood. And First Blood is generally more important than that early farm, because you can really skyrocket your team ahead with just that early 400 gold for whoever gets that kill, and then I believe it's like 72 gold spread out for the assists.
Pretty much, so we're going to be in this game right now. I'm 5 seconds in.
I am 6-7 seconds right now.
Alright, that's perfect.
Actually,
so wow,
yeah.
Janna grabbing the early ping, so that's interesting. She won't have many green wards as she would want to. Only one, actually. Health Pendant coming out from Trundle, so he's going to go with the early GP5, and nothing else too unconventional coming out from the other players.
Now, just looking at the two teams, it looks like we will most likely be seeing an invade, except I'm not seeing boots on Alistar, so that's going to get a little tough to invade. But actually, are they spreading apart to cover? That's actually really interesting.
Yeah, the purple team is currently doing I like to call the banana strat, where everyone pretty much grabs the choke points, so that if they do try to invade, they'll be fully aware of what's going on without wasting any ward. I actually see Alistar right now going to check if there's maybe going to ward rather, or just going to scout. Yeah, going for a ward for the raids. So the purple team did see that ward as well. So, but I'm pretty sure Yorick, yeah, is starting. Not Yorick. I mean, Trundle will probably start blue, but they will know when he's going to do that red buff.
Absolutely, and that's actually extremely crucial. But they do counter ward that with a pink ward, so that's going to deny the vision at the same time. If there's any hope of an invade from Mumu, because sometimes you might see Mumu try to sneak in a Wraith camp or two. He's not going to be able to do that as easily because they'll see him enter there, and that'll be that.
And we might see an invade still from the blue team. They want to go on the top tri-bush, and they don't have vision right there. And Janna might go for a face check right there. Actually, no, just sitting in the bush. So smart play by Janna, not going for the face check. We're actually going to see the recall from Corki, I believe. No, from Swain. Swain actually recalling. I'm surprised because I thought it would be either mid or pretty top, but actually going with the recall, so maybe grabbing a fourth bot. But we might... Gongma and Janna actually doing the golems right now, and Corki is going in. Will Morgana land the Q though? Nice damage coming out from Corki onto Janna. Janna not deciding to flash though, and the golem is actually blocking the bind from Morgana. So Morgana's going to try for it, but he's actually going to get blocked by that golem. So now it'll just come down to... Ooh, Corki taking a lot of damage from Kongma, but looks like they'll leave the golem there perhaps. But it's still going to steal the red though.
And now, at the same time as they're stealing red, if you look down bot, we could possibly be seeing that blue going to Yorick. I'm going to initially doubt that. Yeah, he's running away from the blue, so John's going to pick up that first blue, and is there going to be an attempted gank on this duo top lane right now?
No, it looks like it's going to be a 2v2 top, so a new meta coming out right now. So we see both ADs and both supports on the top lane. The double wards coming on the tri-bush. They did see Amumu walk by there. So Amumu didn't get to get much XP early on in the jungle because the red buff did go to Corki. So Corki will probably abuse that in the earlier phases of the game because Kog'Maw early on is quite weak. So we're going to see Yorick versus Swain in the bottom lane instead of top. So quite an interesting meta right there.
And I don't think it was actually a change. I think that you see Yorick, he grabbed the cloth armor first. He was expecting to duo lane against the Alistar Corki, but I believe that they realized that Mizuki maybe plays a really strong Yorick, and he can also duo, and so they said, you know what, let's just go right ahead and counteract that right off the bat. Swain has range and sustain against Yorick, and that should make it nice and easy.
So it was, after all, AP twist on. It'll be interesting to see how that will work out, though. Oh, yeah, again coming bottom from Trundle. Thanks for that. So the exhaust is going to go on Swain, but Swain did waste his flash, though, so that's going to be a flash down for the bot lane. And now Yorick will pretty much be able to freely rest. Wow, you're actually on top for that. Wow, Janna going down for the first blood. Corki really committing onto that. He's going to flash away, though, from Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw's still going to try to commit, though. 2 more basic attacks, and that's going to be a kill, though, with nice headbutt coming from Alistar, preventing that chase. And they might actually turn around onto Kog'Maw, but 1 less basic attack will finish out on Corki, but nice Q coming from Alistar to finish that kill, so that's going to be a kill right there. And meanwhile, at the bot lane, Tristan actually getting caught by the jungler in the mid lane. We're actually running down through the tri-bush, but Trundle is there to cover. Wow.
And is this a Tristana mid? It is a Tristana mid. I am incredibly surprised with this. And looking at her stats, she took the 10% spell penetration and the 10% armor penetration. So this could go either way with what build she goes, because she has some AD but no AP at the moment. So I don't know exactly what she's going for.
She actually tried to go with a jump onto Morgana. Unfortunately, she didn't quite land that slow. So just a few poke onto Morgana. Morgana did land that QW, so both AP mids taking a little bit of damage. But what I'm really surprised is how top lane was able to commit that early on and grab 2 kills really in the early phases of the game. You actually see again onto Swain from Trundle. Trundle won't be able to do much though, but Swain right now is really getting denied from his farm really far out, and his wave is pushing.
And also, Mumu's also getting denied. Trundle stole Mumu's red buff. You can see Mumu not having a red buff at all. They didn't even manage to nab Trundle's red buff, I believe. I might be mistaken on that. I'm going to check that real quick. But if that's the case, Mumu is also extremely behind.
Well, he is level 3. If you look at Trundle, is only level 3 as well, because he did spend some time in the bottom lane. So I'm pretty sure the few minutes both junglers will be all apart. And we actually see a lane switch though, so Swain's going to go into 1v2 lane right now, and Corki Alistar will go grab against that Yorick in the bot lane. So that's going to be 1v2 for 2 lanes now.
Now, I don't know how I feel about this lane swap. I mean, because that Alistar Corki just completely destroyed Janna Kog'Maw, and they can easily pick up another kill or 2 because those summoner spells are gone. Now Swain's just going to allow Kog'Maw to free from it. They may have some idea behind it, but I don't necessarily agree too well.
So we might see a dive onto Swain right now because Trundle is in position. They actually will go with the dive. Who's going to grab it? Janna's going to grab her Trid aggro first. She's going to take a few Trid hits. And the W from Swain is going to barely miss onto Janna. So Janna will live out that one, and that's going to be a free kill onto Swain coming out from Kog'Maw. Nice play by Janna right there.
Morgana's coming up to try to catch Janna with that, and there's no war in that water area, so we could be seeing Morgana possibly picking up 1 kill if he managed to bind Janna. Not
She's
going to
actually going to go for it. Yeah, she's actually going to go under the trip because Amumu's right there as well, but I don't think they'll be able to grab any kills from there. Janna actually stopping the recall to knock up that Morgana. Morgana's going to take a lot of damage from Kog'Maw. She's actually going to be forced to flash away, but Trundle's going to go with the dive, and Morgana has her Q on cooldown right now, and meanwhile they were able to pick up Kog'Maw, so that's going to be a 1 for 0 for now, but nice bind coming from Morgana onto Trundle, so that's going to be another kill for the blue team, now sitting at 4-1.
I'm incredibly impressed with that play right there. I mean, I didn't think that anything was going to come of it, but then Morgana just timed her binds perfectly, timed her shields perfectly, and just knew the limit that she could push, taking all that damage, and eventually Mumu managed to jump in there and help clean up. And I guess Trundle is kind of underestimating Morgana's capability. I mean, these guys are really high ELO, so you really can't underestimate people's ability with skill shots.
And what I like right now is that Morgana didn't miss that much XP. Tristana did push up the wave, so she's probably going to be on par level-wise. Tristana just hit her level 6. Morgana will be a little bit behind, though. About, I'd say, 300 experience behind Tristana, so not a big deficit. And she did grab a kill onto the top lane, so she is getting out-farmed a little bit. But right now, if we look at the gold-wise, Morgana sitting at 1900 against Tristana, actually 1700. So Morgana is actually ahead.
And now another thing that's incredibly interesting, it's not AP Kog'Maw or AP Tristana. They're both going AD. And what magic damage do they have?
Looks like they don't have any apart from maybe Yorick's W, and even there, that's pretty much about it, actually. So they do have pretty much no magic damage at all, apart from Kog'Maw W, that is, but that's pretty much it. And we actually see a counter on the blue buff right now. 4 players from the blue team in position. Trundle's going to put a pillar right there, so he's going to spot that. So Tristana's going to come down, but she might get caught by Morgana. No, she's actually deciding not to come down. And the ward coming from Trundle right there in the bush to see what's going on in there. Well, actually, it looks like they're going to try to commit for that blue buff.
I don't think that ward is actually in the bush that Trundle placed.
It's actually hard to tell, but he is still in position. He actually will try to smite, though. But a nice combo coming from Alistar. Nice Q coming from Morgana. They might actually be able to pick that kill up. Morgana was level 6, and the Ignite and the Morgana Ultimate will actually pick that one up. So that's going to be another free kill for the blue team. So blue team being really dominant in these earlier phases of the game. We'll actually see a gank from Tristana right now onto Swain. And so we might see yet another dive onto Swain on the top lane.
And all Tristan has to do is run in there, ult Swain out, and then simply jump out of the way of the tower, possibly onto Swain. Because actually Swain does have all the summoner spells going, but it could be a very easy kill with the CC from Janna and Kog'Maw.
So yeah, Tristana going in with the jump in the ultimate and the ignite, and that's going to be way too much damage. Swain trying the W onto Tristana, unfortunately not quite landing. So yet again, Janna taking the Trid aggro for the second consecutive time, rather. So really nice play by his Janna so far.
Absolutely, and if you look, we're 8 minutes into the game, and look at the farm totals. Normally you're thinking, oh, you guys got to farm, last hit, get the items. Both teams are being incredibly aggressive, lane swapping, just going for kills, and not so much farm. In terms of gameplay, this isn't the typical 2,000, 2,200 ELO players that you normally see on streams. This is almost looking like an 800 ELO game where they expect to get their gold from kills.
Yeah, but if we look at the global goal-wise, Kog'Maw barely stealing that blue buff. Will he get it? Wait, no! Oh! Nice smite coming from Amumu right before that Kog'Maw's ultimate landed. So Kog'Maw almost stole that blue buff with his R, but Amumu actually using the smite. So Morgana won't get it, but Amumu still did grab that. So really close call right there, but nice try from Kog'Maw still. And I just want to point out something. The score is 5-2, and the global gold is pretty much dead even at the moment because of that turret and the farm.
Because of the turret, and actually look at the farm, they actually might be even in terms of farm gold if I felt like not being lazy I could do that math, but
they are ahead by about 20 overall, 20-30 maybe.
Alright, so that and then the turret is what is keeping them even right now, and that's actually that might actually put them ahead in levels as well. I'm not entirely positive.
We might see a dive on the bot lane. Will Corki decide to commit on that? No, he decides not to commit. So nice arrest though coming from Alistar Corki. Corki actually grabbing that blue buff. And we might see a team fight at the dragon right now. Morgana is in position on the left side, but purple team will start that dragon right off the bat. Swain actually is completely out of position being in the top lane right now, so I don't think they'll be able to initiate that because that will be a 5v4 if they decide to. But Amumu does have his ultimate though, so we might see something interesting. Nice ultimate coming from Morgana, actually proccing on 3 persons. Kog'Maw will get out of range, but nice ultimate coming from Mummy, so Trundle will get completely picked off right off the bat. Trundle, Yorick will be forced to flash away. Yorick tried to commit, Corki tried to commit though, so two flashes coming from Corki, thanks to that nice positioning. Kog'Maw almost getting picked up the one last basic attack, but he will flash away as well, and the Morgana's bind barely missing that, and Tristana actually trying to go for Morgana. The E won't finish it because of the spell shield though, but the last basic attack will get that kill, so that's going to be another 1-for-1 right there. So that would be, overall that was a 2-for-1, and now the blue team might be able to grab that dragon.
No, that actually may be too low, even with Alistar's heal, because it is at rank 2, but I don't think it's going to be on short enough cooldown to keep Mumu sustained through that dragon. So they're actually going to back off and just go by. They have it clearly warded. They cleared the wards there from the purple team as well, so it's going to be safe for the blue team to just leave that alone for the time being.
I really like the play coming out from unR right now. Managing to win that fight straight up in a 4 versus 5 just because of Morgana's and Mumu ultis being really nice positions. Corki was able to waste the flash of Kog'Maw, Trundle, and Yorick, so 3 flashes just coming out because of that Corki damage. Corki did have that blue buff at that time, so his cooldowns on his ultimate was really low, and that's a lot of damage even without the Sheen.
Actually, most of those summoners, those flashes and whatnot, were blown when Mumu came in. He got off a really nice ult damage coming out, and then when Mumu started chasing, because he was at very high health, he had the capability to chase, that's when you started seeing the flashes go, because with Mumu there, even though his cooldowns are rather long, he could still peel for Corki. And with Corki low, he doesn't have to be as afraid of getting picked off, because if they go for Corki right there, then Mumu can sit there with his W up, that little AoE ability, just sucking out percentages of their health at a time and slowly but surely cleaning up the kills.
Yep, so right now we see actually Tristana getting bullied out of the mid lane by that Morgana, actually forcing the jump just for Morgana's being actually there, not even wasting any skill. And Swain was in position though, so if Morgana did land that Q before the Tristana jump, that would have been really devastating. And we actually see a pause coming from the unR team. Was about to say Alistar is at the Dragon Arena right now. Does Alistar have an Oracles though? I'm not entirely sure if he
Alistar does have an Oracle.
Yeah, he does have
also
an Oracle.
A pink ward right there as well, but their own team saying someone's faking DC, but that would be Alistar DC'd on the Dragon. You can see it coming right now. Hopefully it will be resolved very shortly. He is back. We should see the unpause very soon. And my guess is they have enough time to think about this. We may be seeing a tower dive onto Tristana, and then shortly after that, the unR team trying to go for that Dragon.
Yeah, most likely, and I just hope that this pause won't be as long as the other one that was, Go For All when I was solo casting. It actually lasted 16 minutes. I hope it's not going to be as long as that one, because that was a little bit long for that pause to go off. So meanwhile, we can just go look over the items. We see actually Trundle already got 2 GP5s, even though he has 3 deaths. Tristana did pick up 2 of those kills on her team, so purple team only sitting at 3 kills, but they're still in the game, though only behind 900 gold globally, so not that much of a deficit for the purple team. And then now the game will resume in the next few seconds.
And here comes the resume, and now the only issue I have with pause is that when you're about to go into a fight, you have time to think, all right, is this actually the best decision we can make right now? And that gives you a couple extra seconds to talk to the team on event and say, all right, or any other voice communication. Oh, Tristana still...
Oh yeah, very close right there. Tristana timing the jump real nicely to that Swain's W. If she didn't jump right there, I'm pretty sure Swain would have been able to pick up that kill really easily, especially considering the fact he had Ignite and his dot. So meanwhile, the blue team, completely aware that the purple team is defending the mid, will be able to pick up that easy Dragon.
And so now we're going to see that Dragon is 1236, so you'll be seeing the next Dragon at 1836.
Pretty much, and now Yorick actually getting poked down the bottom lane. So I really like, actually, I didn't think that lane switch would work, but so far it seems like they're able to actually deny Yorick some farm. Only sitting at 73, Corki at 81 though, so not that much of a big difference. And we see another counter on the blue buff coming from the blue team. So the blue team is really spot on for those buffs.
And to be honest, even though they're stealing the blue buff, it is nice for the blue team to be having those buffs, but it's not imperative for the purple team either to have the buffs, because who needs that cooldown reduction? I mean, the only person I could really see needing that would be Yorick, but at the same time, looking at his items, he's got a tier, and he's also got cooldown reduction from the Kindle Gem, so he's not exactly hurting on mana or the cooldown reduction so much.
So while actually Janna getting picked up on a mid, I actually didn't see what's going on, so I'm going to go back in time a little bit. So Momo going in with the bandage, does ultimate right off the bat. Janna's going to pop the ultimate, but the black shield from Morgana will prevent that knockback onto Mumu, and they will be able to pick that one up really easily.
You know, look at top real quickly.
Oh yeah, actually we'll need to go back yet again, because top lane did get... Wow, actually Swain winning that fight, I'm surprised. Let me go back a little bit behind again, because I did miss that fight once again, so... pretty much right now just Swain farming in the Resurrect, nothing much going on right there. And I'm wondering what we're going on. So yeah, we see the kill at mid right now. And then now actually Corki taking a few turret hits though, actually a lot of turret hits, 4 turret hits, 5 turret hits onto Corki. Swain did flash for that, and will the passive finish it? I don't think it will, because just because of that Swain's ultimate. Yep, the Swain ultimate life regeneration actually made him able to survive that Comix passive, so really well played. Kog'Maw actually being a little bit too ballsy right there and taking a lot of turret hits for that.
And now something really interesting that we're seeing is Generally speaking, I know you main AD carry, and a standard build for an AD carry is generally you want to get the two Dorn's blades early on. Am I correct?
Pretty much do the double Dorans, Lifesteal Scepter, and then pretty much Infinity Edge for most AD carries.
Now, if you look at the Orb team right now, you're seeing one Doran's into a Zeal for both of the ADs right here. So they're looking to be mobile, possibly roaming a bit, and then just getting off a couple of pot shots and getting back. A couple of pot shots, getting back. And that's actually a really interesting strategy. Instead of trying to go for the raw early damage and health, they're going for a bit more mobility and a little bit more in terms of poking.
Well, I had actually saw that a few times. We'll actually see a top on the flash lane. John almost getting caught on right there, so she was forced to flash away right there. And the Kog'Maw was in position. They actually teleport coming on the wall right now. And nice Q from Morgana running onto Yorick, but Tristana's going to jump the wall. They're going to take a few hits from Baron though. Only one hit though, so that's going to be the purple team right now. We did manage. Nice ultimate from Mumu, actually blocking 3 people, and a lot of we damage coming from the blue team. And I'm pretty sure the purple team will still win that because it is at 5v3 right now. And actually, Tristana joining in with the jump and the flash onto Morgana. The Ignite will finish that one kill up, and she will be able to jump the wall and now commit onto Amumu. Amumu will flash the wall though, so Amumu will be able to get out of that one, and that's going to be a 2 for 0.
2 for 0, but at the same time, the blue team, unR, looks like they may be able to take 2 turrets for that. So they did get the Orb Mesh to land. Was it 3 kills? 3 kills or 2 kills? I just really forgot.
Amumu barely walking right next to that Janna. If they had that warded, he would have been able to manage this over the wall and pick up that kill. Unfortunately, she was just out of the vision ward. If we look at the vision range, so it was just barely out of that ward range. So Amumu missing an easy kill right there just because of that ward positioning. That was really close though. And on the bot lane now, the Corki and Elisar will be forced back, so they won't be able to actually commit for that turret.
Now, one thing I see that's really interesting, as we have a fight near Dragon right about now.
Yeah, we actually see 2 flashes. Tristana going in, 1 to Corki. Corki forcing the flash, so Alistar's going to pop the ultimate to try and negate some damage. But Tristana's red buff right now is being really efficient, and she's going to jump right under the turret and try to finish that Alistar. She will be able to finish that off, and she's actually going to jump out. I actually thought she would jump in because Yorick was taking a turret, so I thought they might have wanted to try to come in onto Corki. But oh, nice damage coming from Corki onto Trundle. Trundle will get picked up really quickly. Now Swen's going to commit onto Yorick, and will they be able to finish up that kill? Pretty much, I think they will. Yorick does have a lot of movement speed though, and the W from Swain barely missing onto Yorick is going to flash the wall. So that's going to be that for that chase. And meanwhile, Corki actually picked off John. I actually didn't see that.
Yeah, and that was, in terms of Tristana jumping over the wall, that actually may have been the best move on her part, because if she jumped in there, that would have been an easy way for Morgana to come in, clean up a kill, grab double buff, and just start picking people off as they try to retreat, because that cooldown reduction on Morgana is actually a lot more deadlier than you would expect, because faster Dark Binding, faster Soil, also a faster shield, that makes her an unstoppable force, and then she doesn't run out of mana pretty much, because her cooldowns are just so long.
Yep, I'd have to agree for that. So now Tristana is sitting 4-1. She did grab that BF sword, probably going to go with the Infinity Edge soon enough. So yeah, I'm really interested with that double seal coming out from the blue team, purple team rather, really early on. That's not something you see that often. And so far, it seems that it's kind of working out. Only Kog'Maw though, sitting 1 and 3. But I mean, we can't really blame that. He is in the 1v2 lane, and it's not really easy to pick up kills when it's in a 1v2.
Actually, in terms of build, since it is a double AD carry, there's not enough CC to peel off of both of them. And my assumption is Tristana will actually go for a Bloodthirster first, because then she'll be able to run around the fight, be a little bit more tanky, be able to survive a little bit longer, and that would let them keep the CC and peels onto Kog'Maw. So I'm guessing Kog'Maw will go for an IE, and then just after that, Tristana will get a Bloodthirster, just so it'll be really tough to pick either of the two off.
And we actually saw Corki coming on the middle lane with the red buff, with the Valkyrie onto Tristana. Tristana jumping really quick, not wasting any time and not taking any risk for that. And another blue counter coming from blue team once again. That's going to be the 3rd consecutive one. So blue team is really on spot with those timers, but this time the ward is really nice position. Yep, from Trundle, and the fight on top will have to wait because there is a big fight on the blue team, on the blue buff right now. Oh, nice bandage shots coming from Amumu right onto Tristana. Tristana will be forced to flash the wall, and Morgana will line the band onto Janna though. But you look at Trundle and Yorick, they're actually trying to chase that Morgana down, and they won't be able to grab that blue buff, so that blue buff will go to Corki, and neither team will try to engage that. So I'm actually gonna go rewind to see what happened on the top lane at the same time.
And as you're looking at that fight, there's also a Dragon being taken by unR. They're incredibly on top of the timings and when they can take each objective. Very well played.
So yeah, Swain coming from the right side onto Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw taking a lot of damage, and he knows he really can't fight that. Trying to juke him and using the flash cleanse right out of the bush. But Swain will try to chase that. Don't actually turn around knowing he would die from the dot. So nice try from Kog'Maw right there. And that cleanse didn't really solve anything.
And now, if you go back to live, you see that the blue team is really starting to group up. They have two towers down, so we're clearly in the mid game at this point. They tried to force the mid game very early on, especially after they got so far ahead in kills. You're just going to see them just try to keep tower diving as a team, and it's actually being super effective at this point.
A nice ultimate coming from Janna, actually pushing back everyone. Morgana's going to go with the flash ultimate though. Really nice flash ultimate, forcing the jump onto Tristana, picking up Janna really quickly. And now Trundle is getting focused down onto the turret. Tristana's going to pop the ultimate onto Morgana. So Trundle, oh no, to the last stick from Ignite, will pick up that kill onto Trundle. Corki did come though, and he will dive that as well. So that's going to be 3 kills for the blue team onto the turret.
I am amazed that Sway managed to survive. He just sat there tanking as much as he could, trying to at least secure the kill, but his ult being just enough to stay alive, even with the Ignite debuff on him. Very impressive play, and the focus is absolutely impeccable, along with the synergy between the Mumu ult, Morgana ult, and Never Move Swain, Pulverizer Alistar. It's just that's a ton of CC on top of a lot of damage. It's actually hard to beat that at this point.
Yeah, Morgana Mummy is really a really sweet combo for team fights. You do see it quite often, and that is the sole reason you see it often, is because if both players actually, wow, we see Kog'Maw getting picked up right now. Nice positioning by Alistar, actually doing a nice pulverize, and then a headbutt right onto Corki, and Corki will pick up that one really quickly. And now the Shrill is coming from the purple team. They will try to chase that Corki down, but the Valkyrie is coming up in 1 second. He's actually going to go with the flash though. Very nice pillar coming from Toronto, forcing the flash onto Corki, but he does have the Valkyrie, so he'll be able to jump over the wall if need be.
And now there's such an advantage here, but the thing is, if this purple team didn't have their Kog'Maw get caught, they could have easily chased the blue team away and then possibly taken a Baron, because if you look, they're kind of low. They're low. They don't really have all their ultimates. Morgana's ult is down. Mumu's ult is down. And if you look at the blue team, the only ultimate that they're missing right now is Janna's ultimate, and it might not even have been needed if they were going for Baron. I mean, they could have easily cleaned that out while the blue team was going back and put themselves back in this game.
We saw purple team trying to push the mid turret. Yorick almost got picked off, actually was forced to flash away as well. So the blue team responding really quickly to that mid push, and Swain barely missing W onto Yorick. That probably would have secured the kill, but Yorick did have his flash up, so that's going to be a flash down for Yorick once again.
One thing I find extremely interesting is Trundle is almost going a support build. He's been counter jungled so hard all game. He's got double gold per 10. He's got an Avarice Blade, so he may be going for a cheap attack damage item like Yomu's Ghost Blade, or just taking a Brutalizer, and then going tanky shortly for that, because he does have the Shirley's, he's got the Heart of Gold, so as you mentioned before, he had the triple gold per 10, and he's just trying to find any way he can to get back in this game.
Yep, and we actually do see another triple gold per 5 coming onto Mummy though. So Mummy right now 3 kills, 4 assists, and a triple GP5. So he is currently sitting at a nice 7,000 gold. He's actually, literally, he's actually second gold-wise in this game. Actually third, just a little bit behind Morgana. So a lot of gold on that Mummy, and he will be able to bring that into the late game. And like I said, he's probably going to go with a pure tank build.
Well, with his nerfs, I believe that nerfs were really, there was a slight AP nerf on his Vantage Toss and on his ultimate. Besides that, he's still extremely strong as an AP champion.
We see Mummy going with the initiation right onto Kog'Maw. Mummy did win with the Vantage Toss ultimate right onto Kog'Maw, but Morgana did get caught before she was able to do anything, so that's going to be 2 easy kills for the blue team. So not a good position making, really nice awareness from the blue team. I thought that Mummy ultimate was bad because he only hit one person, but it did turn out pretty good after all.
Now it's interesting to see just the synergy of the ults, and for some reason the purple team decided to fight in an enclosed space. And I think that may have been a poor call, because it looked like they were grouping up to try to fight the blue team, to try and contest, denying them some sort of harm like red buff, but instead, just like I said earlier, you cannot compete with all these AoE ultimates and abilities. It's just way too much to deal with, even with a team that has 2 AD carries. So they're severely lacking in CC, and they need to try to outlast the blue team just to get enough damage in.
So now we see the blue team actually picked up Baron. Nice ultimate coming from Morgana, actually proccing onto... I thought that was 2 persons. That was only Yorick and his Ghost. And now, not Yorick. Yes, Yorick, actually. Yorick and Trundle's Ghost, rather. And Yorick will get picked up as well. So that's going to be a Baron and a double kill for the blue team. I won't say that's pretty much the end of this game, but that is. And Janna almost got caught by Swain's W. And she will flash the wall, don't she? You'll be able to escape that one. And while you were talking about... while you were analyzing that, Swain actually did dive Tristana onto the top lane. Tristana did kind of miss her jump. She didn't actually achieve the full range on the jump, and she did get dove by Swain, and he did get away with about 300 HP because of that Tristana ignite. So Tristana, being a little bit too far out on the top lane, got picked right before that Baron, actually right as Baron was happening, and that was a free one for the blue team, and now actually sitting in a nice 10,000 gold advantage.
And now, what I was talking about earlier in terms of builds, I was almost expecting Tristana to get a Bloodthirster just because they don't have that CC, and she did not. I was incorrect with that. But if you look at the blue team, they split it up the way I was kind of expecting the purple team to, where Swain got a Frozen Heart to stay a little bit tanking, immobile through the fight, and then letting Morgana go with a little bit more damage. So Swain would be like the utility AP, and Morgana being their big AP damage. I was kind of expecting that in the same way for the purple team, whereas Tristana getting a Bloodthirster, try to stay in the fight a little bit longer, and then letting Kog'Maw get that Infinity Edge to become his intense late game hyper carry that he normally reaches.
And we almost saw the initiation coming from the blue team, though. Unfortunately, the W from Swain will miss, and the Q from Morgana will miss as well. So all they're waiting pretty much is for someone to land their skill shot, and then they're going to commit on whoever is hit, because right now they can pretty much focus on anyone on the purple team, as no one is actually quite tanky. Yorick will get the W from Swain. Will land onto Yorick, deciding not to commit on that, though. And Kog'Maw's nice positioning and barely dodging that bandage toss from Mummy. That would have been really bad for the purple team if Kog'Maw would have got picked up right there. But now Yorick got picked by that W from Swain yet again. So as I said, just waiting for a nice skill shot, and now they'll be able to commit right under Trin. Nice alternative coming from Tristan, actually pushing Corki back, but they will be able to finish that kill onto Janna. And Tristan almost picking up that kill to Morgana, but getting just a little bit too far. And nice bandage shots coming to Mummy, and he's gonna pop the ultimate to pick up that kill onto Swain. So that's gonna be a triple for Corki now. Wow.
And now, in terms of picks, also, Trundle's been extremely popular in higher ELO solo queue, and also in some 5v5, like, arranged teams. But this, I do view Trundle as almost like a Warwick in terms of problem, because Trundle can either help get your team extremely far ahead and be an absolute menace, or at the same time, if he's not effective, he kind of just becomes an anchor to your team. That's what we're kind of seeing right now. There's no ability to peel except for this pillar. At the same time, he's not very tanky, and he's just kind of there. He's just another body that the blue team can take gold from at this point.
And they were almost able to pick up that Trundle. He will be able to get out, though, just barely. Alistar going behind with the headbutt into his team, so they were able to focus him down. I actually see Tristana jumping in. That was really scary from Tristana, because the blue team does have the Baron. They're almost all full health right now, apart from a few people. And they actually see Yori going a little bit too far out. He's going to pop his ultimate on himself right off the bat, and now he knows he can go in. Even without kind of dying in of itself, but he will get picked off really quickly, his ghost that is. And now Mumu's going to go back in. Nice managed shots onto Janna. Janna will die really quickly once again, and they'll be able to come in. Actually see Tristana jumping in, trying to go with the Ignite ultimate onto Swain, but that didn't really work out. And another triple kill. And we might even see a quad for Corki, but nope, he won't be able. And oh, the flash bandage does almost sliding onto Trundle.
If I saw a flash bandage toss there and leading to a kill, that just would have been quite an impressive way to close out the game. But it looks like the blue team's finally going to bring this to a close. And interestingly played. I mean, definitely not quite the game I would have expected, but I tried to call it a pretty accurate game, but I guess I just didn't have it in me tonight.
Yep, that was quite an unusual game. The matchups, a 2v2 on top and a 1v1 at bot, and then some unusual builds coming from the blue side. But then the unR really has a nice had a nice response to their team comp, where Alistar rushed the Aegis, Mummy got a really early Sunfire cape. The Morgana did rush the Zonius as well. I mean, you pretty much rush Zonius every time, but still, and Swain with the Frozen Heart. So that was a lot of AoE armor and debuffs for those 80 carries.
And the armor wasn't even the important part, because if you just look at the gold right now, there was just no way that that orb was going to catch up in terms of damage, because they were just so denied early on by getting the double kill in the first couple of minutes by Alistar Corki. And then from there, because Corki got that early damage, he could just completely shut down Yorick. And Yorick being shut down, Yorick needs to be a big beefy tank, especially having 280 carries on his team. Combine that with a very squishy Janna, and then a heavily denied Trundle, and by shutting down Yorick, that was actually the best move. I initially didn't agree with that, but then as the game progressed, you kind of see as to why they made that swap, and that was actually very well done.
Yep, so once again, my name is Dexirian, youtube.com/Samitet if you want to see more of my videos, and twitch.tv/Dexirian if you want to see more of our dual cast, and
I am Nubaeus. You can catch me at youtube.com/improveyourLOL, or for streaming, twitch.tv/Nubaeus, Nubaeus. And with that, we're going to close out for this game, and we will see you guys next time.
Nice. Alright, I'm going to restart stream just to cut the video. Don't